Hello. This is probably long overdue. I will say I will be covering the same topic the next time Two Guys One Pod drops an episode. But this is Two Guys One Pod off air, episode 1. This is like the fourth time me saying episode 1 for Two Guys One Pod off air, but I'm going to explain that because you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. So, obviously, Two Guys One Pod hasn't. Let me rephrase. Two Guys One Pod off air hasn't dropped an episode in months. Where has it been? What's been going on? And what will happen? So, my initial view of the show was very straightforward when you think of Two Guys One Pod off air. What does that mean? Well, what do we do behind the scenes, right? What do we do when we're not on air, not recording? And in my mind, in our minds at the time, that was behind the scenes, creating ideas for the episodes, stuff like that. And like breaking down the episodes, how we made them and what went into it and so on and so forth. So that was part of the initial idea. And then it was like, well, why don't we also teach people how to do what we do? And that, for me, that quickly died because that was not entertaining to make, and it's definitely not entertaining to watch. I am slightly disappointed because it was a free way for people to learn how we do what we do, because unless you can just go on YouTube to do the same stuff, but a lot of people really charge money to teach that stuff, and I proposed a free way to learn about it. Just get my thoughts together here. But it was boring. It was boring to make, and I apologize to people that enjoy that type of content. When I was making it at the time, at the time I was making it, the quality was not really there. It was like a slideshow, and the camera quality was bad, and it just didn't feel great. It didn't feel like a good show. It felt like a waste of time. And again, for me, it was boring to make. And if you go way back to Two Guys One Pod, episode 1, season 1, something we made very clear is that our main, and I even talk about this with Gary Barv on the recording booth, our main driving factor of the show is to have fun entertaining people. So that show did neither of those things. It wasn't fun, and it didn't entertain people. It informed people and educated people. We didn't even get through all of it. We got through the computer. That was as far as I made. I made more stuff after that. I just never posted it. But it was just not fun to make. I gotta be honest. If I ever take on a teaching role, probably wouldn't be a podcast. And if it was, it'd have to be something completely different. So I went back to the drawing board for a little bit. And again, I apologize for not explaining any of this on off air or on the main show or even on the recording booth. I never brought it up. I went back to the drawing board. I was like, okay, let me start over. So I made an episode like this where I talked about, okay, I'm going to rebrand, I'm going to reorient my sites with this show. And what it changed to was only breaking down episodes of the podcast. So I made me breaking down the first 7 or 8. No, I think I went through the whole first season. So I think I recorded me breaking down the entire first season of Two Guys One Pod. But was that entertaining? Possibly. Potentially entertaining to watch me do that. It wasn't really fun to make, but it did a third thing bad. It made Two Guys One Pod a prerequisite to Two Guys One Pod off air. You would have to watch the main show before you could watch the spin-off show. Kind of stupid. So I'm back to the drawing board again. And I think I finally hit a point or got an idea that can work for the show, because I want this show to work, because we already did the branding for it. We got the logo. We got the promotion for it already. We just don't have a show. We just don't have a show with it. And I haven't really talked to Paige much about this, just because I don't want to say he only cares about the main show, but he doesn't really pay attention. He doesn't pay attention to the other 2 shows. So these are, like, the recording booth has been my podcast since before Two Guys One Pod. That's kind of my baby. And nowadays, it's, I get to just talk with awesome people on every episode. That's what the show's for. That's what the show's about. And those specific people are in the creative process, in the creative industry. So music, art, writing, filmmaking, that sort of thing. And the main show, Peyton and I, have fun while entertaining people. That's the easiest way to explain it. We do a huge variety of things. We do bring people on there to talk to business owners and stuff like that. But my idea for off air is now this. Two Guys One Pod off air is taking a step away from the main show and doing stuff we can't do on the main show. What do I mean by that? So I have done a couple solo pieces on the main podcast where I break down food. I think have been the only things I've done. I think did Wingstop and Hardee's the second time. But those were like solo bits, and also like when Peyton couldn't make the show, like he missed a couple episodes in season 1, I brought in a guest to replace him for the episode. I'm gonna not do that anymore, and instead, Two Guys One Pod off air will essentially be Peyton and myself making solo content or just doing stuff that doesn't really fit the main show. For example, a lot of our listeners are in Wisconsin and pretty local to the areas we're from. So we can do potentially coverage of local activities, events. I'm not going to say like weather because then you're going to instantly go, ooh, news broadcast type of thing. No. Northeast Wisconsin did just get hit with the biggest blizzard since 2018 or something like that. And it was actually insane. And I do want to talk about that. But like just doing solo food reviews, maybe game content or just review content in general, stuff that I would have fun doing, or if Peyton would like to do it, he could absolutely do it as well. Just stuff that we would like doing individually, maybe stuff together, but just stuff that doesn't really fit the main podcast mold would then slide over, not down, slide over to Two Guys One Pod off air. So that's where I'm at with it. What are my plans for the show right now? Well, I do want to cover that blizzard because it affected quite literally everything. And currently I'm in Green Bay. And it was crazy. It was wild. That's all I'll say. But if I do like episodes with Braven, if you remember him from early season 3 episodes on Two Guys One Pod, I might bring him back and do like some discussion stuff with him. I would put that on this show. I would not do that on the main show. So with episode 1, now that I've explained where I'm at, what am I going to do? So what are some ideas that I'm coming up with? Well, I thought I will do that here with you fellas. Fellas, I kind of mixed 2 words there. So I know you're watching me mess around with stuff, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a document and we're going to talk about it. Here we go. All right. So, this is Two Guys, One Pod, off air. Oh my gosh, episode ideas. So, I'm going to say it a million times. Well, maybe not, but I think this will finally stick. I've been looking for something with this show that will stick. I think this will do it. And I am changing the format of the show. Initially, it was just be numbered episodes, not on a seasonal basis, nothing like that. Well, now I'm kind of changing that because, the other 2 shows are on a seasonal basis. So I think this would just make sense. So I mentioned Braven because I think he's going to probably be the biggest guest I have on this season. I haven't actually talked to him about this, but just with my experience, I feel like this is something he would enjoy doing, like discussion-based stuff. Rebooting the show. Episode 2, honestly, I'm probably going to bring him on right away just for a discussion. These are not the official titles, by the way. Maybe episode 1 is the official title. This is not the official title. So it's going to be a discussion episode. It's probably going to be NBA related discussion, not a debate. Debates would be fun, but we could also do, I want to do this, Friend Slop games. Honestly, this could be something we do with Peyton, so this might jump. See, here's the nice thing about this show. What this allows us to do with Two Guys One Pod is it allows us just to make content, and then we decide, does this really fit the main show? I don't know. See, this idea for episode 3, Friend Slop games with Braven and Peyton, because I know they would both love to do that. Yeah, that would probably fit the main show. So this would get wiped, and then I could just have a discussion with Braven later. I mean, this is something I could have with Peyton, but I think it would be more entertaining to have somebody else. Same as with a nerdier topic, because Peyton is not into that stuff. So it would just, be better that way. I think we could do discussion. So I don't want this to get confused, like this Two Guys One Pod off air, as like a Two Guys One Pod Junior. I think it might get confused like that, but it's a standalone show. It's under the umbrella of Two Guys One Pod, but it's standalone. But because it's so closely tied to the main show, that's why I'm keeping the title with Two Guys One Pod off air. Because the recording booth, it's under the umbrella, but it's not tied to the main show. So I just want to be clear. Again, this stuff is pretty loose, but I really want to keep this show alive because I really think there's something that could be there, and I think this is it. I think this is what we do, and I think this will be what sticks. So let's think. What other discussion would be good? Ooh. So I'm thinking of doing just bringing Ben back because I've been talking to Peyton how I wanted to make another season 1 episode 5 episode, or was it season 1 episode 6? One of those episodes where Peyton couldn't make it in season 1. So I got Ben on. That was a great episode. But I've been mentioning how I want to do that again, but it would only work if Peyton wasn't there to kind of recreate that special part of it. So this would be a lot more fitting for it because Peyton doesn't have to be there. The main show, Peyton and I should both be there because it's our show. We should both be there, So let's do an episode with Ben in general. Do repo. Could do I'm gonna do this because this could be a multiple episode thing. Because all this stuff could cover hours worth of stuff. No, that's not Friend Slop. Content warning. And if I brought Peyton along, we would pick one of these probably. Well, here's the thing. Peyton and I did Fortnite for an episode, but it was weird. It was weird to film. And amongst all the other stuff, it kind of feels out of place. So I think the gaming stuff doesn't really fit the main show because it just doesn't have that special touch to it. So I have Braven as the main name here, but Peyton could definitely do this as well. I'm going to put him back. I'm going to put Ben, Peyton, etc. We could do something Minecraft related. I think that'd be fun. Because I can get a couple friends to do this. Just gonna have to make sure they stay contained. Could do some sort of philosophy thing with Braven. I did one of these with Peyton, and it was awesome. But this would just be different topics, and it could be or solo. Something that doesn't fit as much. What else would be good? We could do like food reviews, but if Peyton and I do it together, obviously that's a main show thing. If it's like local coverage, this has to be earlier. This is solo. So it had to be like episode 2 or 3. Because I actually had to walk around, not to spoil it, but I had to walk around Green Bay to do stuff. And I filmed on my phone a couple of stuff, like me talking about how crazy it was. So I got that. Ooh. I kind of want to... Nah. I think this is where I'll chill. Well, I kind of want to come up with 3 more. By the way, that escape room I did with Peyton was really fun. I'd like to find another one I could do with him. That would be pretty sick. Yeah. I think I'll probably end here, or I could. All right. So, exercise. I think is that how you spell it. I think so. Just episode talking about exercise and fitness, because it's something I do a lot. Just talk about that. Could like react to stuff too. That wouldn't be bad. This is something that Payne wouldn't do. Also, if you remember Isaiah, who gave a written testimony or a testimonial for Payton's court trial back in season 2. Maybe he can come back for this. I think that'd be pretty fun. What's another thing that wouldn't really fit the main show? By the way, all of this stuff, again, if you see this, all of it looks like substantial content with a lot of sustenance, and that's because it should be this quality and this good. Because again, it's just stuff that could easily make the main show, but it just probably wouldn't feel perfect. You know, it just wouldn't. It would be out of place. Like running a Minecraft server for a couple episodes would feel out of place. Bringing Ben back without Payne would feel way out of place because I'm missing my main co-host. Having a philosophical discussion with Ben or Braven or somebody like that would feel out of place. Covering my local weather would feel out of place right now because Peyton doesn't live here, and he's not going to live in Green Bay, and I'm not going to live in Green Bay forever. Talking about this, Peyton doesn't do any of this. Well, maybe a little bit, but he's not big on, like maybe he'll lift or play basketball, but he's not big on exercise, dieting, fitness like I am. Peyton does not like this topic, so he wouldn't do this, right? So it would feel out of place. It would feel forced. Friend Slop is something that Peyton and I probably will do, but this would be not as formal as the main show. This, again, I could do. I mean, basketball is not Peyton's main sport. If I was big into MLB, we would be talking about that all the time. So, this stuff seems awesome and seems really why did I say it like that? This stuff seems awesome and really entertaining. but it's just stuff that I would love doing, but just would seem out of place. And if Peyton has something that he wants to do with a friend of his or with Braven or something like that, that maybe I wouldn't do as much. Like if he wants to talk with Braven about MLB or football for an hour, I'll edit it and post it. I have no problem with that because I'm doing the same thing, right? So, last idea here, because I'm only going to go to... Oh, why am I writing season 3? Oh, why did I write season 2? Okay. Sorry. Anyways, last idea I have for this is called the power of linguistics. This is because, and I'll explain this in the episode, so a brief overview. I obviously am an English speaker. That's my native language. That's my main language, first language. But I have learned Spanish, and I have known Spanish, or I've been taking Spanish-related courses for a long time, all throughout high school. Took a college-level course, had it in middle school, and I've been using it a lot. And also in recent life, I've been using it a lot more. But I'm also learning sign language. I know a handful already. I know enough to make good conversation, tell people to do stuff, or like request things, stuff like that. And I've only been practicing for 2 days. So I just want to talk about how big of a change doing stuff like sign language has changed and like added a new layer to the, like, I don't know, it's just really hard to explain, and I'll dive into the philosophy of it in that episode. Again, this is way out of order. These episodes could all happen. None of them could happen. Who knows? Maybe off air will crash and burn. I don't know, but I think I have something here that will finally stick, that will finally be interesting, that I'll enjoy doing, Payne can enjoy doing, and I can't wait to talk to him about it, bring it up to Ben, Brave, and other friends about, hey, we should do stuff, content-related things that would feel out of place for the main show. This is how we can still do them. Just hit my mic. And breathe. All right. So, I think that's good. I think I hit everything that I wanted to talk about. And I mean, within this, if you still, like, you can message me. If you go to 2guys1pod.com, there's tons of ways to make contact with me. If you want to still see, like, an explanation of how to make a podcast, how we do what we do, let me know. And rather than doing 20-minute episodes, I'll sit down for an hour, hour and a half, and break everything down. I can give you my POV from the first podcast I made to the most recent podcast I've made, which is now 2 Guys in Pod off air at this current point in time. But I also got the recording booth doing stuff all the time, and 2 Guys in Pod doing big stuff all the time. You know, I might take an episode here to explain the short film that at the time of this recording is still in the production process. It's taking longer than I thought. Maybe when you see this, it'll be out, but that's doubtful because this will probably come out within a couple of days, if not tonight. So that's what I got. Yeah. I will. Well, last thing. 2 Guys 1 Pod episodes come out on Fridays. The recording booth episodes come out on Wednesdays. And these episodes come out on Mondays. I think that's correct. I'm going to double check that. It's kind of crazy. I don't know that. Sorry, I just got another idea. This one I'm not going to show. I'll have to wait and see. Got a good idea. Okay, so, yeah, so this will come out Wednesday. No, or Monday. Because it's... No, wait. Wednesday. The recording booth comes out Monday. I'll take a look. But it comes out one of those days. Yeah. because we'll have a episode come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday for just the recording, or the Two Guys with podcast in general would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday's the main show. Monday might be the recording. Well, the recording booth doesn't really come out on a day. It just kind of comes out whenever. Just because I don't do consistent content with it. I do a lot of content with it, but not consistent, really. The main show is supposed to be consistent, but we've kind of hit a gap. At least I have. I don't know what's going on with Payton. Doesn't matter. So this will probably come out Monday, the 6th, April 6th. 4/6. Yeah, hopefully I get some stuff filmed and we can get this consistent for a couple of weeks. Get into a flow. Get it real consistent. And yeah, I'm going to assume these seasons are going to be 20 episodes. But here's the thing. Another rant. Typically, with the shows we got, it's a seasonal basis, 20 episodes, take a month off between seasons. We've taken 2 months off before. We've taken 2 weeks off before. I've taken a year off for the recording booth, if you count that as a break. But with this show, if it takes too much work and attention away from the main show, it'll be 10 episode seasons, or 10 episodes. It'll be 10 episode length seasons, just because, and maybe it'll come out every other week, because Two Guys One Pod, the podcast, is the main focus of the business, and it's where the main focus should be, because that's where everything is coming from. The recording booth came back because of Two Guys One Pod. Two Guys One Pod off air was created because of Two Guys One Pod, right? So as soon as attention and anything drops or gets taken away from the main show, then something has to change, because that is the main show. That's the heart of the business. That's the heart of what we do. Speaking for Peyton and myself. So if this show takes a lot of work, or just as much as the main show, then I'm gonna spread it out a little bit more to make sure that the quality of both shows are still great. Because if I start focusing too much on Two Guys One Pod off air, then there's a problem. Because what it should be is Peyton and I get on call for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, twice a month, or once a month, depending on how the release schedule is looking, and then drop episodes every Friday. Two Guys One Pod off air, I'll probably record this week to week, so I'd have to schedule an hour to an hour and a half of time every week to record the episodes, then I have to edit them and post them. So probably 2.5 hours total of work. And if I bring people on, I'm going to need to work it out with them and stuff like that. So as soon as something overlaps and it's like, focusing too much on Two Guys One Pod off air, so the main show kind of has a lackluster episode, or drops in quality a bit, or seems rushed, or doesn't seem well structured, or anything like that, which I guess would mean rushed, then that's a problem. I'm going to have to cut back on something, and it's not going to be the main show, because the main show is the main show, right? Again. So, honestly, I don't hate the idea of doing 10 episode seasons. 20 episodes to me seems full, because you get through the first 10, you're halfway, then you keep steam rolling through. By the time you get to 20, it's like, yep, that felt like a good season. And typically it takes us around a year to do the full 20, which it shouldn't. It should be taking us, 2.5 months, 5 months to do the full season. But it usually takes around 8 months to 12 months. The season 1 took a full year, pretty much. It took 11 months, I believe. Season 2 it came back in February of 25. Technically, we filmed January. We had a big collab planned for the opening episode of season 2. That fell through, so we got delayed a little bit. But we came back in February. and then we filmed the finale in season 3 all in December. So that took, what is that, 9 months? 9-10 months? So that's roughly how long it takes us to do these seasons. And now that I'm saying it out loud, if I start with doing 20 episode, seasons of off air, they might suck. The episodes might not be great. So I could do 10 episode seasons, release an episode every other week. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to do the first 10 episodes of Two Guys One Pod off air, release it every week, back to back to back. And depending on how I'm going to get through season 10, when that drops, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to step back, take a look at the all 10 episodes, how the season is, and decide whether or not I'm going to take maybe 2 to 4 weeks off. And that will either be the end of season 1 or a mid-season break. So that's what I'll do. So I'll get through the first 10, give it my all, and then I'll reflect, analyze, the debrief, and if it seems like, yeah, I can do this for sure with the main show, then I'll keep going for another 10, have a 20-episode season after a mid-season break. Otherwise, I'll just cut it there, start season 2, kind of change the pacing up. So that's what I got. I like that. So I'll try to get working on some of these episodes tonight. I do want to do the main show tonight as well. And I also got the recording booth scheduled for 2 days next week. I got 2 days of my next week done for the recording booth. I'm going to need a day of Two Guys With Pod off air, and preferably a day of Two Guys With Pod. So that's 4 days. I can do off air and the main show both in the same day. The recording booth is both on different days. So it's going to be a busy week for the business. But that's what I got. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being patient. I will talk about this on the main show just to drive more attention to this reboot. But I'm hoping that Two Guys One Pod off air can finally be a good show and finally have something to it. It hasn't had anything to it. I think this will finally do it. I know I'm saying a lot, but this was not a scripted or planned episode. This is very much on the whim because I've had the ideas flowing through of what I want to do to reboot this and make it actually stick for a couple weeks now. And now I'm bringing it to the screen, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I got. I'm liking it. I'm going to leave you with that. I will see you. Well, I guess I won't see you in a week from now because I'll see you Friday on the main show on Two Guys One Pod. But I'll see you next week, Monday, for Two Guys One Pod off air. Thanks for listening. I'll see you when I see you.